Hello, thank you for coming to this video today, guys. I actually just recorded this whole video, but my mic wasn't on, so here we go again. I hope this one is better than the last one. But what we're going to be going over today is the pledge amount that is necessary for stake pool owners, and also my opinions about it. And then I kind of want to get a discussion going on here. My opinions in the video, I'm not saying they're right. I want to hear opposing opinions, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. But this is very, very meaningful. This number is going to change the course of Cardano and of the network and of the people who run the network. So we do need to take this very seriously. We need to look at this calculator. We need to figure out what's right. And I would love to hear your opinion. And if I have a different opinion than you, please respect mine and I'll respect yours. But yeah, before we jump into it, if you guys want to support me, I would really appreciate it. I actually just lost 10 million delegates on my pool. We've been doing really, really well lately. I think it was just someone trying to support me for a little while before they switched to another pool. I mean, we got 7 blocks yesterday, then 6 the day before, but now that we're down to 1.19 million, we got 1 block, which is probably about a 12% ROI today. But yeah, if you guys want to support me, just subscribe to my channel, leave a like on the video, leave a comment. Also follow my Twitter account. I would really appreciate it, but I know you're sick of hearing that. Let's jump into the video. So what is pledge? I'm going to say that real quick for people that don't know. The pledge amount is the amount that you have to pledge, the amount of ADA that you have to pledge to your stake pool. You're essentially locking it up. You're locking it up to secure the network. This is also so people don't just create multiple pools to try to take control of the network. Like I said earlier, it's really important. We'll read this A naught value right here. So A naught value is the leader stake influence. I think this will help you guys understand what pledge is if you haven't heard already, and then I'll try to hurry up if you have. But we'll just read the description down here. This is a system constant, and its value has yet to be decided. The bigger this value gets, the harder it is for an adversary to create enough pools to gain majority control. But at the same time, the difference in profits between differently funded pools also gets bigger. So it's a tricky value. The higher we set it, the closer, the better the security of the network is. But the lower or the higher we set it, the disparity between people who have money and people who don't have money becomes bigger. And they do this by the amount of rewards you receive. So your reach isn't necessarily different. So say everyone all delegates to my pool. We all still have the same saturation point. We're all still going to be receiving the same rewards, but they're going to be cut based on this pledge amount. And there's also a minimum pledge amount, and this is something that I worry about as well. So we'll pull out a calculator and do some numbers here. So real quick, TLDR, pledge amount is what you have to do when you create your stake pool. You lock that amount up to secure the network, and it's also so you don't have multiple pools. And the amount of rewards you receive is going to be determined by this formula based on this A naught value that hasn't been set yet, and all the other values like K and everything down here. If you guys want to look at this, I'll have the link to it down below. And then there's also a minimum pledge value, and this is the minimum amount that you need to be selected for slots to get blocks. And so I think it's important to run how much this costs, like for the minimum, because Cardano was founded on people without money, the unbanked, being able to be banked, but also be able to have an equal say in the ecosystem, so to speak. And I don't really think that this is doing that. I think it's actually de-incentivizing people with less money to do this at all. And then A naught is essentially how much they're de-incentivized to actually create a pool without that. And that's even if they have the minimum pledge. So we'll say the minimum pledge is 100,000, which to me seems like a lot of money to put into a speculative currency. to the average person in America, at least. I'm not saying that it's ridiculous that you would have done this. I'm not saying that I haven't done this. I'm saying having 100,000 or having 5,000 US dollars is a lot of money to have in a speculative currency. And so if the minimum is set to 100,000 ADA for you to even be selected for blocks, you have to have $5,000 on it. That's a lot of money to have in a speculative currency in the United States. Now imagine someone in Africa trying to come up with $5,000 to have the minimum amount to even see if their business will be successful. So maybe this will work out for me. And then this is also the minimum amount. And then before we do some more math, the minimum is determined by this A naught value. So there's an optimal, and we'll act like the optimal is 100%. You're going to receive all the rewards. The minimum is the amount you have to even be selected. So then what this shows you is the difference between what you get at the minimal and the optimal if you're at saturation. So if you've ever looked at ADA pools, saturation is when your pool size is a whole percent of the network. So if both of these pools are at full saturation, but one guy has less money and the other guy has the optimal amount, this is the difference. So if A naught is at 0.25, the minimal, so you have the minimum pledge is going to be, your reward for you is going to be 2,400. So if you guys aren't understanding anything I'm saying, I'm sorry if I'm bad explaining this. Comment down below and I'll help you out. I am kind of going fast and also voicing my opinion at the same time, so I apologize for that. But so then now we'll look. So this is the minimum right here. Is if the minimum is 100,000 ADA at 5 cents at today, that's going to be worth $5,000. So if the minimum is that, who knows what the maximum is going to be, but the difference in rewards they receive is going to be a pretty high percentage at a low A naught number. I mean, it's 600 ADA in difference. And then if you guys want to test this out yourself, you can see how much you go up by adding. So obviously 10% of 600 is going to be 60. So each number that you go up is going to slowly give you more and more ADA. And then this is what you're doing is you're increasing your pledge amount essentially. You're slowly working your way back up to that optimal number. And then if we go back to 0.001, you'll see that you reach the full amount, the optimal reward, which is 3,000. And this is why I'm worried, because people, I feel like it's incentivizing not only people with more money, but people who got into the system earlier, because even if you got into the system at 3 cents, it's pretty hard to come up with 1 million ADA for an optimal pledge. And then the higher this value is, the worse it gets. So we'll move this up to we'll do 0.4. So look, then the disparity is almost 900 ADA, almost like 33% off the top of my head. So that means you have a 33%, or if you start here, so if you just start at 2,000, right? We'll just say the number's 2,000. That means you have a 50% advantage on people who don't have money, who just have the minimal pledge. You make 50% more. Let's see what number that would be. That would probably be A naught, what, like 0.3? No, 0.5. Yep. Oh, so I mean, that makes sense. 50% advantage. This number is just the advantage that you have. But the higher the number, the more secure the network, but the less money people without money make. And then we'll run back to the calculator right here and start talking about how much it would actually cost to do this. And it's a little spooky for me. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm being like, it's just, I was so happy to make videos and be limited by my reach instead of by my wallet. And that's kind of how I feel stake pools should be limited and I know this is just me talking about Fairyland and we need to secure the network and we need to prevent Sybil attacks, but the ideal world, you should be limited by your reach and what you do for the network and not the amount of money you have. Because by owning money, you're not really doing anything for the network. I mean, obviously running a stake pool, you are doing something for the network, but by helping people, by teaching people how to participate in the network, by bringing people in the network, you should be able to own a stake pool and be rewarded for helping the network, even if you don't have cash. Because I'm a college student. I even though I have a little bit of money and have ADA, I have to worry about my tuition. I have to worry about living while also not having a job. Because that's, if I had a job, then it would be different. So we'll look at 100,000 ADA, and this is to me this is a low minimum. People are talking about the minimum to actually run a pool being 100 to a million, anywhere in that range. And I'm honestly thinking it's probably going to be 200 to 300,000 to even be at the minimum amount. And we'll just do 100 to be nice. And then obviously if it's 200, you can just double whatever it is. So let's look at, it was 5,000, wasn't it, at 5 cents? I'm pretty sure it was. We'll just type that in again. So look, 5,000. And then if ADA goes up to 10 cents, 10,000. 20 cents, 20,000. $1, $100,000. So imagine if ADA goes up to $1 after Shelly comes out, Gojin comes out, and ADA's worth $1. That means to even receive the minimum that we went over, it would cost $100,000 to see if your business is even going to work. Because you don't know if you're going to have the reach. Because remember I mentioned earlier, we're talking about if you are at saturation point. This is the amount of money that you're going to receive. So people who aren't at saturation point, which I'm not, you just saw I had 1 million ADA, which is 0.01. I need 100 times this amount to reach saturation point. I am already paying for my pool out of pocket. I'm not earning any money off of this. I'm paying out of pocket to hope my stake pool can be successful. But then with the minimum being 100,000, that means I would have to pay $5,000 to have $5,000 in ADA to see if my business could even be successful. And that worries me. It really does. And imagine that if ADA is worth $1 and the amount is still 100,000 ADA at the minimum, to receive the minimum amount of rewards, to be completely disadvantaged towards everyone else, you have to pay $100,000 at $1 to even be considered for slots, to then be penalized by the pledge amount. It's just, I'm a little worried about it. I really am. This A0 value really changes things. Like as we went over earlier, it's just a percentage of how much you're disadvantaged. And with a lower value like 0.1, 0.2, I mean, but even 0.2, it's getting a little crazy. I mean, a 20% advantage for having more money? I mean, let's think about that. Like, I'm not an economist, but let's think about that from a business. If you're running a lemonade stand across the street and you have a 20% higher profit margin and rainy days come around and the coronavirus is taking out the whole the lemon country, so we can't get our lemons anymore from there. So now we have to pay 10% more for our lemons. I can't afford that, but you can. You can afford rainy days. You can save up more money. 20% is a huge margin. And who knows how, I don't have any idea how high this value could go. I don't know the pros and cons, or like the difference in stability between 0.1 and 0.2 and 0.3. I mean, if it's actually, think about it this way, if the network is twice as secure at 0.4 versus 0.2, doesn't people, IOHK, who's determining this, who has money, who isn't worried about a pledge, who isn't really thinking about the average person, because I feel like they're not really in touch with reality in the sense of like the average person doesn't have $5,000. So at 5 cents, if the minimum's 100K, which the minimum could be 200K, 300K, 400K, That's $5,000 at the minimum to even get started in a speculative currency during a pandemic, like when we're about to hit a recession. I'm worried about this pledge amount. I'm not trying to just spread fear or anything. I'm just trying to voice my opinion and hear what you guys have to say about it. I didn't really mean to rant in this video. I'm not saying, I'm not like, oh, I hate Cardano. I want to have the same chance as everyone else to run a stake pool. I want to have the same ability to make videos while also promoting my stake pool and not just be run out by the little guys, because it's not just about me making money. Like, if I was just disadvantaged, then it would be fine, right? But it's not just me, it's the people that delegate to my pool. So if the number is this high at 0.4, that means if you delegate to me, pay ADA, your boy, you're going to make 40% less. If I have no money, you're going to make 40% less. So if you have to go to the lemonade stand and this lemonade's 40% more for the same lemon, the same peel, you're not going to want to come to old Pay ADA, you old YouTube boy trying to give back to the community. You're not going to want anything to do with me. You're going to want to go to the guy who's going to give you 40% more. Even though he might speak a different language and be a different country, that man has fat stacks. He has paper. And you're making 40% more. Screw me. I wouldn't come to me either. I'll delegate to a different pool if I'm making 40% more. That's my point. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Just please respect my opinion. I would love to be changed. I would love for this value to be different. I would love to hear someone else more intelligent than me just explain this away and saying the number is going to be lower. People aren't going to be disadvantaged. You're going to be able to change your pledge amount. You'll be able to put more in there. I'm just worried, guys. I'm worried not about the ecosystem. I'm worried about the little guys in the ecosystem. And that's kind of what I like about cryptocurrency, is even if you are a little guy, cryptocurrency is pretty niche right now, so you can be a big guy eventually. But I feel like this is disadvantaging the little guys. But rant over. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions about anything, if I didn't talk about anything very well, feel free to comment down below. Have a good day.